conference will now be recorded.
This is the ANCAN Blood Cancer Group. We've already had some informal discussion and introductions of each other, and we will now go through the group and get some comments for those that wish to comment today. And I'm going to go first to Lou because Lou has had a lot going on, and we'd like to hear what's going on there. And Lou is a multiple myeloma patient. Go ahead, Lou.
Unmute myself. Yeah, I just got test results today. Everything was kind of, in the beginning, it looked like my numbers were steadily going up. And then the last month, I had my kappa go down. My myeloma number went down. So I was already checking out MD Anderson at Houston and had registered just in case I needed to look into the NK killer cell um, clinical trial that I had heard about. And one of my doctors had already sent in information to MD Anderson for me so that I could get started. Dr. Abdallah was out of the country. My myeloma specialist was out of the country at the time. So Dr. Shanae, who is my clinical trial doctor, she thought it sounded like a good next step for me. But then it was on hold whenever my myeloma numbers were looking better. So anyway, now it's up again. So it, I think took a little slight diversion, but now it's back on, the upward track. My kappa numbers are what Dr. Abdallah look at. That's what he monitors my myeloma. But in September, I had 8.35 for kappa. And then in November, it was 7.62. That was when it took a dip. And then today, it came in at 9.5. So it's going back up. David, my husband, he's at a concert for one of the grandkids, so he's not here, which is good. He's busy because immediately he said, "When do we leave for Houston?" And I told him, I said, there have to be a lot of steps, in between. Oh, your numbers are up and going to Houston. It's going to take some time, and then the doctors agreeing, that that's a good next step. So anyway, I had a kind of a nervous caregiver on my hands all day after we heard about my numbers. So it's good that he's at that concert, so it'll keep him busy.
You know that they have apartments.
Mode.
You know that they have apartments down there for.
Yeah. They don't, at KU here in Kansas City, they have Hope House, but the Cancer Society, but in Houston, it's not called that. It's called something else.
Well, they have a kind of a motel like thing
Right.
adjacent to the hospital, but they also off campus have some that some friends of mine have stayed in
Yes.
apartments. They go down and get some short
Yes.
apartments.
And I've been, before, when my numbers were steadily going up, I had started looking at what was available. And there's some apartments, I don't know if it's the Masonic Alliance or whatever, but they have some, and I think they're like $25 a night. But the one that's sponsored, I think, by the Cancer Society is like Hope House. There's no charge. So I'll have to start looking again, getting my ducks in a row, and checking things out. But I feel okay, a little more fatigued than usual. If you can see behind me, I got our Christmas decorations and stuff. David, of course, put the tree up, but I'm the one who does the, decorations with the bulbs and our special ornaments and stuff like that, and some other things around the house. So we have everything up except for above the kitchen cabinets. I told David we can do those tomorrow, but it's looking a lot like Christmas. But it does wear you out. That's what
Derek has his hand up, so I think he's got a question or a comment to
Yeah.
make.
Yeah, Lou, the question I have for you is when your numbers were down, were you able to make any sort of correlation to any lifestyle change or other that may
Well,
have attributed to your lower numbers?
not lifestyle, but I did have an infection, an ear infection, and they put me on a steroid antibiotic. And I think that's what affected my numbers. It was short-lived, obviously,
I
but
see.
I think the steroid caused that little dip.
Gotcha.
Isn't
Which
that
of course,
strange,
yes, would be short-lived. I'm sorry, yeah.
Unfortunately, I do respond quickly to like dexamethasone or whatever, prednisone is what I was on for my ear. But I respond very quickly to steroids. The problem is it just lasts a little while and then my numbers, bound back up. So anyway, that's kind
Thank
of
you.
what's going on there. Did you have another question? Okay. The other thing is we head to Ash, where Michelle is. We head to Ash Saturday morning. The reason is we were asked several months ago, David and I, to be on a patient caregiver panel at Ash. And when we said yes, we thought it was going to be part of the regular programming, at Ash as one of the sessions, that people could go to. But as things evolved, we learned that it's actually MJH company, like a pharmaceutical company and a health company, and they were wanting to record patients and their caregivers about their journey. And it was just really to do videos, and so we're going to go. They're paying our way and paying for the hotel, but they didn't pay for registration at Ash, which is over $1,000 a piece. And so David and I were like, $2,000, that's, right now with maybe going to Houston kind of above our heads, we're like, no, I don't think we can, do that out of our savings, is pay for Ash this year, but we'll be close. And we will, our videotaping, first they're going to do the caregivers, and second, they'll do the patient panel. So from noon until about 4 o'clock on Sunday, we will be videotaped with some other patients and caregivers. And those videotapes will be available online to view. Of course, they'll be edited. But Cure Connections is the organization that has these videos on their website, and they also make them available to anyone, in their network of, I don't know, doctors, hospitals, whatever, and patients.
Is it part of the continuing education for doctors?
I'm sorry.
Is it part of the continuing education for doctors?
I think so. And it's
I did an interview like that.
with Cure Connections.
Well, not with them, but with another
Okay.
company that was a continuing education for doctors.
Yeah, and I've done one for the one that Michelle does a lot of my moderating for, the patient,
Patient power.
yes. And so I also moderated a doctor and a nurse practitioner talking about blood cancers. And so, kind of like what Michelle does, and I moderated one for them. But it's different than what we thought we were getting into. Like I said, we thought it was just going to be part of the ASH, panels and sessions. So it was a disappointment, in one way that we weren't, able to go to sessions, while we're there. But, we'll be there Saturday night, Sunday night, and fly back Monday afternoon. But it'll still be interesting, and we'll be on the panel with some people we know that we coach with through Health Tree and some other organizations. So, that part will be interesting. And there will be a Dr. Bangery, I think is his name, Banerjee. He's from Fred Hutch, a doctor from Fred Hutch. And so he'll be moderating the group, and he'll also be sharing some of the information about latest treatments and stuff like that. So we'll at least get to hear that part. So that'll be good. Anyway,
And
that's all I
Derek
have.
has his name up again.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. So Lou, you mentioned MD Anderson going there. Do you already have a treatment plan in place, or what's the
It's the beginnings.
beginning,
There's
meaning?
Yeah, we've started the ball rolling. First,
What
typically
I'm
you'll
curious is what is the ultimate treatment plan, I guess?
the NK killer cell CAR T.
Thank
It's
you.
a clinical trial.
It is a clinical. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
I had heard about it over a year ago at the fall conference for the IMF. And there was one of the leaders, support group leaders from Oklahoma City, I think, and he was the second patient to go through it. And they are producing their own NK killer cells at
Nice.
MD Anderson. KU was going, my hospital where I go, was going to do, my doctor was going to do a NK killer cell clinical trial at Kansas at KU. But the person who's over the stem cell transplant, the BMT clinic, he said he wasn't really impressed with the results. And I think I shared last time we found out that it was different cells. The NK killer cells at MD Anderson are produced there. The ones that KU was going to do, it is produced by a pharmaceutical company, outside KU. So it's a different type, I guess, of killer cells. And I heard a doctor talk about it today, and it sounds like there are different models, for this NK killer cell type clinical trial. So it's interesting. The person that I had talked to last year and then talked to again recently, he is MD, he's MRD negative, and they cannot find any myeloma cells right now in the tests that they do, the bone marrow, the electrophoresis. They do not see any myeloma cells. So it sounds very promising. It takes a lot to qualify. So, it's a long process, I think. You
Got
have to go down to MD Anderson, you have to interview, you have to go through tests for a week, I
I see.
think.
Okay.
And then if they accept you, if
Right.
you qualify,
Right.
then you're down there for a month.
Okay. Thank you.
Lou, I put the link in the chat for the
Cure
Hope Cancer.
Connections.
Hope Cancer Retreat. We stayed there on occasion when we were at MD Anderson, but it's about a 45-minute drive into MD Anderson from there. But
Okay. The places I was looking at, it was
right.
on the campus,
Yep.
and that's what we were hoping for.
yeah,
The one on the campus is good for the short term. I think it's a little expensive to stay long term. It's why most of the other people have stayed, close but off campus. So,
that's a Rotary House and
yeah, the Rotary House is the one that's right on
right on
campus.
campus. Yeah,
There's,
where you
there's
can.
another one.
Okay.
There's another one that I found, and
Yeah.
it was like 25 a night.
Oh, that's not
But
bad at all.
it's sponsored by obviously an organization. I don't know if it was Masonic Alliance or someplace, that lets it charge, a reasonable price for
Right.
people who have to be there long term.
When I was looking before, there was a link on the MD Anderson webpage, and I followed it. And it was like Joe's lodging or Joe's, and it was a list.
Yeah.
And I want to say there was 20 or 30
Yeah.
different places.
I saw
So,
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know
I
that
just, I'm sorry.
I was going to change the subject of the MD Anderson, but like the NK, they have been working with that for several years, with that kind of CAR T. I know that
Yeah.
I've heard about it for
Well,
the CLL for quite a while.
according to Carl, that I know, the support group leader from Oklahoma or Tulsa, he was the second patient to be in the clinical trial for the ones made at MD Anderson. It's the patient number 2 out of the mice. They had been doing the testing with the mice, and he was patient 2 outside the mice population.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, the ones they're making there, it's not been all that long, because it was last fall when he said that he had just been doing it like 2 months or something at that point.
I had a friend that did myeloma at MD Anderson. Sorry, he did lose his life, but he was a medical doctor too, out of Longview. But he, at beginning was kind of like you with all of them. He had good results at the beginning, and
Right.
then you
And I
never know.
do. I respond fast, but I also, it doesn't last. At first I was thinking it's just my T cells are tired. I was like, I think they're, from all the different treatments in 12 plus years,
So what have you had? Two CAR Ts?
3.
3 CAR Ts, yeah.
Yeah.
T cells maybe.
They might be pooped. And that doesn't even count all of the treatments in between, like Darzalex and Pomalyst and Revlimid. And, I had at first I had this stem cell transplant, of course. That lasted almost 3 years, which was great. So,
Yeah.
but everything else has lasted less than that. I also did teclistamab, which is, the bispecific, and it's like injects in your stomach. You don't, have a long IV or anything like that. It's one of those that's like less than 5 minutes injection it's called sub-Q. And it worked fast. Within 2 weeks, I had no myeloma showing up in my blood tests, none. And the problem is I had neurotoxicities on day 39. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue with that, but boy, did that work fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had. Thank you.
Well, Lou, we certainly wish you the best, and thank you for sharing with us. I think my wife might think that I might have some neurotoxicities too, but
Have a good time in Orlando.
Okay, Judy,
saw-
you're up next.
Just real quick, I just saw the temperatures in Orlando are 76 predicted for Saturday.
Oh,
So take some light clothes with you.
I know. Here I have all my winter stuff out, and we're going to be going down there.
Be more like springtime. So, okay, I have finished all but one of my infusions of obinutuzumab. I have that on December the 15th. So far, I really haven't had any reactions to it. This morning, I had my colonoscopy and endoscopy, which I have every 2 years. And hopefully we're going to get to go 3 years this time because she really didn't see anything particularly this time. So that was a good thing. So I'm hoping nothing comes back. She didn't take any specimens except for my stomach that had some irritation. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure, and I'll talk to her more about it when I see her in February, that it may be from the venetoclax that I'm taking. Even though you take it with food, I'm thinking it's still maybe irritating my stomach a little bit. But that's really all I've had is just a little bit of that. Nancy, I don't know, did you have any stomach issues with your venetoclax?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so, but anyway, I've had some nice things happen though. There's a thing called Culinary Care that is out of, right now it's only in Chicago and Dallas, but it is a nonprofit that when you are having infusions, that they will contact you and they have, usually it's a different restaurant every week, and they send you the day before your infusion a menu, and you order things and it's delivered to you while you're having your infusion. So that was been very nice. I've had like 3 different restaurants, and it was, I had lasagna one time, a taco salad one time, and this huge, wonderful sandwich that was really different from a place. And then they also have had at the infusion center a person who comes around and gives foot massages, which has been wonderful for my neuropathy. So that's been kind of nice. And then the third thing that they've had that I just had last week, there is a nonprofit that does facials. And when they said facial, I was thinking, oh, they're going to go and, do makeup and that kind of thing. No, it was a spa facial. And oh, I'd never had one before in my life, but it was so relaxing and so still. And they also do it more than one time. So next week I get to go and have another one. So it's, really a nice treat. So that's been really, really fun to do that. So but I'm very thankful for those nonprofits because they make life a little more pleasant. So that's pretty much all I've had. I haven't had anything but a little fatigue from my medication. I started the last July, and so I'm from that, and I've been on the venetoclax for full dose for 1 month, and then I was on the ramp up for 1 month. So far, so good. I'm doing okay on it.
You have a swimming or hiking report for us?
Well, I did on Tuesday. I did walk my 4 miles in a 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Very good.
So one mile was just over 16 minutes, and the other was in the 17, 18-minute range. So got my heart rate up to 100 and I think 26. So I had skipped 2 weeks, so that was, I
When
didn't
did
do,
when did you start the ramp up on venetoclax? Was that a month ago?
in October, the 1st of October.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've just had my, I think I'm on my 2nd bottle. I was going to do like Nancy did. Nancy on her venetoclax, she numbered her bottles so that she knew when she got to 12. I'm hoping I get to stop at 12, although he said that if it didn't work at 12, that we would go for 24. So I'm hoping not the 24.
Okay. Any questions for Judy? Let's go to Nancy.
Hey, y'all. Well, Lou, I'm super glad that you're still going to ASH and that I just feel like that there is going to be a possibility or an opening or a way that someone's going to just say, hey, you should come over here and go to this session with me. Or I just, once you get there, I feel like something will open and that it'll be more than and I totally understand disappointment. It's like it kind of feels like my middle name sometimes, but I try and embrace it because I know as soon as I try to go on and be accepting of whatever the circumstances are, I'll get better and I'll feel better. And you certainly exemplify such a positive attitude. And I just want to say, God bless your journey. And if you're in Houston, we just made my Christmas gift from my husband is 2 weeks in Bolivar, which is directly across from Galveston. And so we will be in Bolivar the middle of March. So that timing, you might be in Houston and we might be able to cross paths, or y'all would certainly be welcome to come over to Bolivar, which is, across from Galveston. You have to take the ferry over. Yeah. But it's only about an hour away. It'd be a good field trip.
You never know.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. And I have my book. I'm so excited. So the first time I ordered this, I think it was last month, it canceled my order. Like Amazon canceled, they refunded my money and they told me my order had been canceled. And I was like, well, that's not nice. And so I waited a few days thinking there was some sort of glitch. And then I reordered through Amazon and got my book.
Wow. Thank you.
So I just so you know, and I've made another little book. This one is a tiny book. It's really for my grandkids, but I went on and made it an official book, and it's available on Amazon through Kindle for like $3, which is the only way I would encourage anyone to buy it because it's way too. But I don't think I showed y'all this, did I, last month?
No, I didn't know you'd written another one.
So it's a little short story from the creative writing group that we do on ANCAM. We had this writing prompt. That's a scripture, but we had this writing prompt to tell about something that we loved doing as a child, but that we also still enjoy doing. And so my little short story is about the morning that I got to walk the beach with my mom, and because we would go to Bolivar every summer as children and do that. And so then I took, I have a seashell collection of 65 years. And when my mom passed, I inherited many of her seashells. So I put all my shells together, and then my husband smokes cigars. So I have a ton of cigar boxes, which are really nice. They're made out of wood, and some of them are pink and yellow, and then they're all beautifully decorated. And so I filled a cigar box of my seashells and then made this little book. And I took the shells and I would take pictures of them. And then if you, there's an app called Waterlog. and it takes your photo and turns it into a watercolor. So
Oh.
they have kind of a, and these are all Texas seashells. They have kind of a little bit of a water, and then I put the story interspersed. I like this, the sea fan. Isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah.
And then towards the end, I added another little couple of scriptures and some of my, so then I put like some of my watercolor.
Oh, neat.
And then let's see.
So did you tell Rick that you had done this?
No.
Need to.
So then that's the end, and I'll read you the last. It says, my senses are at attention with the morning sky ablaze. The taste of salt is in the air. I hear the dangerous sound of crashing waves and looming riptides like acrobats propelled across the stage of my heart. I reciprocate with arms raised high, running into the crystal spray and immersing myself in the baptism of the Spirit.
Oh, wow. That's
how the
nice.
story ends.
What's the name of the book?
Shimmering on the Sand.
Okay.
Nice.
And then the last, this is kind of fun because some of you guys might have heard the story of the sand dollar, and but it's an anonymous poem. So I was able to take it and put it in, and I didn't have to get permission or anything. And then I had my little sand dollar, and then another, this is a digital piece of art, and then on the back, a little shell. So that was my.
Oh, that's neat.
And then I've always loved, when I go to the beach, I always love finding the tiniest of shells. And then I'll just take an old glass bottle, and clear glass is the best. And I always take home sand. And then I add in the little baby shells into the bottle with the sand. And then I always kind of add a trinket or two, marble or one of those old Monopoly player pieces, and throw them in. And then it's kind of, you can just turn them and see, kind of, it's like you're walking the beach and you get a little scene right there in your little bottle. So I made a sand bottle for each grandchild.
Oh, neat.
And that is their Christmas gift this year. And so that's all my happy talk.
Do you collect sea glass too?
I put sea glass in there. I do. In fact, the most sea glass I ever found was off really close to Syria. It was in Israel, but it was more towards Haifa. So can you imagine where some of that glass might have come from?
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been Roman. It could have been pre-Roman. It's crazy, but it's really, and they're little bitty pieces. So yeah, I like things like that. I'm pretty sentimental, and I try not to get too bogged down in the past, but it was a fun sort of way to create some legacy and do that. My life journey right now is not, I'm at a place where I've got a whole new thing. I'm not sure if the last time we met, if I had been thought my spleen was enlarging again. And Lynn, this is why you haven't heard from me for going out to eat, because I'm pretty much homebound right now. The long and short of a month of gut issues is that I have colitis. And I think because I have a gastro doctor, and he thinks that there was maybe some sort of severe something that occurred that then my colon and that just would not, it just got so inflamed and it wouldn't settle down. And I did have some severe food poisoning in October, at the 1st of October. And so that's the only thing I'm thinking that because this has really been going on for quite a while.
Did they give you an antibiotic?
No, no. um, and this is where I get very disappointed, because when I got diagnosed with CLL in 2019, one of my biggest deals was to really do a deep dive on lifestyle change and diet. And so, all the Mediterranean diet is my friend. Kale is my best buddy. So the first thing they did is he put me on all the foods that I don't eat.
Yeah.
White bread, white potatoes, white
Rice.
rice, yeah, bananas, applesauce. I mean, if it's smushy and gentle, that's all I can eat.
Let
So
me
Lynn,
ask,
it's hard to find a restaurant where you can get some applesauce and some goulash.
let me ask you something, Nancy. Did they do a breath test?
No.
Because one of my things was when I was having it, it was like colitis and stuff, was that it was not in the colon, it was in the small intestine. And
He did a proteins. He did a thing that identified what was going on. Like,
okay.
I think he's clearly on the right path.
Okay.
But
that was the thing for me, because I would blow into these like plastic bags and it would seal it, and then I had to send it off, and I had to do that like every 15 minutes, and I did it for I think 9 of them, and you had a box and had to send it off, and they could identify the small intestine problem from that breath test.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the diet was completely undone. And I mean, like, it's just, very, very strange diet now. And it's starting to have a toll on me just because it just doesn't feel good eating all that stuff.
Yeah.
And not eating salads or vegetables. There's no vegetables, no fruits, no blueberries, all the things. It's called a low residue diet. So it's no fire, it's very low fiber, and yeah. So then he put me on a steroid called budesonide, which is good in one sense that it's not like prednisone in terms of it doesn't go into all the areas of my life, like my sleep and my joints. So it's not really doing any help on my bursitis, unfortunately. I mean, I was hoping that was going to help, but it also hasn't messed with my sleep, and it certainly has not made me hungry, which are the two things I hate most about steroids. But it's 42 days of steroids. So I'm on the second week, and then tomorrow I'll taper down. Tomorrow I go from 3 pills to 2 pills, and then I go 2 weeks on that, and then to 1 pill. And it's not really to cure the colitis, it's to calm the inflammation down, and it's doing that. And then there was this other thing that I got. I got Lamodal, which is kind of a common prescription for diarrhea and that sort of thing. But I also got this powder. And if you ever have this problem, boy, this powder is like amazing. Of course, you feel like you're drinking dirt, because I think you are. And it goes in, and it must just be like what they throw down on hazardous materials that spill, because I think it just pulls in fact, you can't take any of your prescriptions around it for 2 hours, because it will pull those, and they will be, you won't get the benefit. So there's that as well. And all that to say that it's just made my life a little bit very unpredictable, and just kind of in that situation of, wow, it's a whole new thing. And it's not CLL related. I mean, I don't think, because he said he looked at everything and he said, I really don't think this is because of your treatment, because it's been almost 2 years now. And so he did not think the venetoclax or the obinutuzumab had anything to do with this. And, I expect things will go well. It's just been odd. And I probably will have a colonoscopy in January. And then after that, he'll probably start to explain to me how to move back my diet, get off the white stuff and get on the green stuff.
So do you have, what was I going to ask? Is your spleen still enlarged, do you think?
Well, I had an ultrasound. My spleen is fine.
Oh,
My spleen wasn't anything. And my blood work for CLL, everything's so great. She's not even going to see me in person again until May.
oh,
I'm
wow.
going to do blood work for her. And then also, on a happy note, I go to a doctor that sends off annual labs to Cleveland Lab and does a real deep dive looking at BMI and muscle mass and calcium and, all the systems. And I had, in between getting diagnosed with the colitis, I had my lab draws for that. And then I had my follow-up. And my follow-up was the best it's been in like 4 years.
Wow.
My cholesterol was so good. It was like, it was so, I mean, because every year when I go to this, she's always like, well, we should talk about a statin. And I'm like, well, give me 1 more year to see if we can, and my nutritionalist said he doesn't think it's, he doesn't think it's diet related. He thinks my cholesterol is more genetic. And but it was awesome. And so I feel like the Lord, because I cannot relate anything in my life outside of God's will and God in it. So I feel like it was kind of like he was giving me a little pat on the back to get that annual blood work that looked so good when I felt so bad. And that's the other thing. The colitis doesn't really make me feel bad physically. It just emotionally and mentally has got me really pissed off. I mean, I am like a toddler when it comes to bad health news. And I'm just going to confess and be honest today. I just got mad and I just ate today things that I probably shouldn't have eaten in terms, I mean, it was all white flour, but it was a lot of sugar in it too. And I was just mad. I was mad eating because it was, and I now tonight I'm like, okay, I know I just hurt myself. That wasn't smart. That wasn't kind. But I was mad.
It felt good at the time, though, didn't it?
And it was delicious Christmas cookies that are kind of a family tradition that Jay had made. And I just don't think he knew I was going to kind of like binge on them. And I, that's the thing about some of this. Sometimes I just feel so much like maybe it's more like a teenager. I just want to throw things and say bad words. And anyway. All that to say, Lynn, I'm sorry we haven't gone out to eat. Tell Shirley.
I will tell Shirley, and she's been in the hospital to the ER with diverticulitis.
Oh.
So she has empathy for the problems you've been having because hers are very similar, unpredictability.
Is she in the hospital now?
Well, just to the ER.
But still, that's so painful.
Yeah, that's been about 4 weeks ago or so, and she's still trying to get the whole digestive tract regulated so that it behaves normal. And in her case, it vacillates between constipation and diarrhea back and forth.
Yes.
So,
do you guys see Dr. Mather?
The author,
Dr. Mather, for
Dr. Mather, the author.
Yeah, the
and the
author.
doctor.
He is an author. He's written several books. He's an Indian, like a Hindu,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
and he's written The Indian and the Cowboy. That's his books.
his books are good. Yeah. I
He has
recommend them.
an Instagram called the Gastro Guru.
Oh,
There's another book.
I think he has 3 books, but on Instagram, he's the Gastro Guru.
Oh, okay.
He
Okay.
gives tips, and I've started listening to him.
Okay. Okay. I'll tell
But
Shirley about that then. No,
yeah.
we don't see him. She has another doctor from India that she sees, Patel. And
Oh yeah,
so,
he's really good. Yeah,
yeah,
we have good gastro people here.
yeah,
Otherwise, I'd be going to Dallas. But
well,
yeah,
mine in Dallas she's fantastic, Dr. Mathani. In
yeah.
fact, my sister-in-law said today, she said she has such a great bedside manner because she's so upbeat and positive and stuff.
yeah.
Well, Linda, you're up next. Do you want to share with us?
I do. See, Nancy, you just made me feel better because Sunday I was feeling so bad that I was in Trader Joe's and I ended up getting some of the Swedish fish. And over 3 days, because I just can't eat so much stuff. And it was so now I feel like my tantrum was other people have that too. So now I don't feel so bad. Uh, so I had my cataract surgery done in October, November. Um, Going back next week for a prescription because I knew that the cataracts were a result of the treatments from last year. So I'm still going to have to wear prescription glasses. I'm fine with that. My hematologist oncologist, when we had our visit, because of the way my labs were looking, and because the treatments that we have been trying are not working, had not really been working, I've been having reactions to it, that she's taken my case to a tumor board. So the tumor board is meeting next week. So I'll know a little bit more about that. What they've talked to me about is trying again the anakinra, which I think I've shared with everybody. Like every time I do it, I'm only on it for a short period of time because something happens besides tanking all my numbers. So what they're talking about trying is doing the anakinra along with a white blood count booster, and then some supplements to see if they could sort of balance my the neutropenia, which they have not been treating, that, the white blood count, um, and there's one other that they're going to try to balance it off to see if that'll work. For me, because twice this year we've tried the anakinra, I just haven't had good results. And so the fact that they now want to try it again for a third time, but then supplement it, my headspace is just not there. Unfortunately, though, I'm suffering with a lot of bone pain um, and body aches, the fatigue for the last 2 weeks. And what they've talked to me about is trying some physical therapy, along with the fact, because I walk every day and I do yoga or Tai Chi. Um, every day, one of the two, along with the walking. But my bone pain has been so bad, it's so painful to even walk downstairs to go out for a walk. And when I went out yesterday, I walked for about 25, 30 minutes. I was exhausted when I came back home. So there's a part of me that's going like, okay, so I probably do need to try the treatments. But the other part of me is, because of the results of what's been happening over the course of the year, I'm just reluctant. So like I said, I see the rheumatologist next, the 17th, and then we'll start physical therapy on the 22nd. There was some concern about my knees. And so they sent me to an orthopedic doctor. He did a whole lot of tests. And of course, I didn't have any bone lesions, which is good news. But there was a lot of osteopenia and arthritis in those areas, which we knew from my hips and my lower back. And so he was suggesting that maybe some physical therapy along with everything else I'm doing to see if that'll help. So I have 6 weeks of physical therapy starting week after next. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, the cataract surgery went fine, so that wasn't too bad. So that's where I'm at.
Have they ever said to you to take like Claritin for your bone pain?
No, you remember we talked about that like a while ago.
Yeah.
They have me on the Allegra, but they haven't talked to me about the Claritin at all.
Yeah, well, that's you were talking about they would give you shots for your neutropenia. I took the Neupogen shots quite often. In fact, when I was having the neutropenia fever, I took them sometimes a couple of 3 times a week
Okay.
until it came up, and that would be what they'd tell me to do is take the Claritin with that. But it sounds like if you're going to get the Neupogen shots, it may exacerbate the bone pain even
Right.
more.
And see, that's what I'm concerned with. Like there's a part of me, and I'm sure everybody can relate to this, where I'm going, like, I just don't want to do anything else. I want to be left alone. Let my body just do its thing. You know, like I'm meticulous about the eating because my diet changed earlier in the year after I had my endoscopy. That changed, right? So like all passion fruits or foods are out, which is kind of all right, but I'm a vegetarian. And so I'm very careful about what I eat. But there were things that I was eating that they took out, Nancy, so I can relate to what you're saying there. And then they've added some things that it would never cross my mind to eat. But yeah, I'm trying to balance everything. When I have the fatigue and the bone pain, though, I have no appetite. You know, I just don't have an appetite. I started using drinking the milk, MALK, for the calcium. But talking with someone that's in my other group, they were saying that the almond breeze actually has more calcium because calcium is one of the things they were talking about. It's got a higher level of calcium than the malt does. So I'm kind of like balancing. So like 1 week I'll do the malt, and the other week then I'll do the almond breeze. Just I'm alternating back and forth. There was a concern about the weight loss, so I think I'm down 17 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But I think part of that too is some of the things that they've taken out of my diet. Like I don't do sugar, I don't do white flour, so I'm strictly vegetables, the beans, you know, green foods. Um, so I'm not as overly concerned about the weight loss as much as if we could get rid of the bone pain. If I get rid of the bone pain and the fatigue, I would be golden. You know, I would just, I think, be a lot happier. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
The only thing that I have experience with that you mentioned is cataract surgery. In fact, I've got a lens missing right here. My lens fell out of my glasses. We went to see the grandkids, and I didn't even know when it fell out. So I've looked and looked for my missing lens, and my eyes have been stable. My right eye, I had surgery on it in 2017, and I think that's the last time I got a prescription. So I had to go in and get the refractory test where they determine your prescription again, and I'm waiting now for new lenses. So that's why when you look at me, one eye has a reflection and a glare on it, and the other one has none because there's no lens there. But as it turns out, after my cataract surgery, I am 20/20 in my right eye and 20/15 in my left eye, which means I really don't need glasses for distance vision. I just need them for close up. But I get trifocals, and Nancy will know my doctor, Dr. Troy Carter, and it's not that Abilene is that small of a town, but it's just that we happen to know a lot of the same people, and
Yeah, see, but for me, like what I have now is like high sensitivity to light. and I'm still seeing like halos
Yeah.
around, around some things. But like I said, I knew they told me in advance that I'm still going to be wearing prescription glasses. I could go back to contacts. She said in January, so I'll get the prescription this month. So it'll be in eyeglasses, and then I'll go back to wearing contact lenses. And I was wearing toric lenses. So it's basically not much has changed except for the fact the world does look a lot brighter. So I think that's a good thing.
Well, do you know that there's a thing that there's a film can come over it, and if that happens, then you go in and they just zap it with a laser. It takes about 2 seconds or something. But just if it starts to be a little cloudy or whatever, that sometimes mine happened very quickly. My husband's happened 2 or 3 years after, but mine happened in months.
I had the same thing. When I first had the surgery in my left eye, it was amazing how sharp and crisp everything was, and then it began to deteriorate. So I went in and he did the laser, and it never did come back to as sharp as it was immediately after the cataract surgery, but it's still, that left eye is 2015, so it's still
So
great.
when they did the laser, because I had to have lasering before my cataract surgery to kind of seal some tears, some retinal tears, and that was the most painful thing I've ever had happen in my life. So I want to know about this. How did either of you, was it painful? Because I need to have that other thing done on my cataracts because they are cloudy. But I just, the word laser has got me all.
There was no pain to it at all.
Zero pain.
Okay, I'm signing up.
Yeah, and they give you so many drops. Like I'm still like for my right eye, because that was done last. I'm still using 3 drops, 3 different drops. The other one, the left eye, now I'm down to 1 drop. So they give you a lot of drops. And plus I'm using Restasis as well, which I was using that before because I have dry eyes. But the procedure for the one thing that did happen, when they go down the medication list, what they're going to be using, I was allergic to something. And so they had to call the doctor in. We had to have this whole conversation about could they use something else instead of that particular medication. And my attitude was like, look, I'm in the hospital. If something happens, you just treat me. The doctor's like, no, it doesn't work like that. She's like, no, we don't want any reaction at all. We want it to just smooth process. So it wasn't that bad though. It just wasn't that bad.
Well, Linda, appreciate you sharing with us. And I've had the Neupogen injections. Unfortunately, I only had, I think, 3 days, and my counts began to come back up. But that was Judy's had more than 3.
Yeah, a lot more.
A lot more. Yeah. Mary, did you have you said you didn't have anything to share, but there's still an opportunity for you.
Well, I did see my specialist yesterday, and he just said he really liked to see me because he seems to go over my records and everything looks good, and that makes him feel good. So that made me feel good. So other than having to drive home in a blizzard for 2 hours, it was a good visit.
Oh.
But I've got colitis too, and I understand the dietary deal there, but I can eat vegetables as long as they're cooked to death. So they are very attractive. But
how long, Mary, have you had colitis? Is this something is this gonna go away, or is this forever?
Well, mine is the ulcerative colitis, and I've had it almost 15 years. I take the biologic Humira every 2 weeks, and then I have to take some capsules too. But it's under control. But it's one of those autoimmune things.
Yeah, I think everything we get is just more difficult to get through or shifted back. And mine is unspecified right now. So, we'll see. But I will inform you all. I do want to say one thing to Judy on the exercise. So I wear an Apple Watch, and it, would tell me my steps, and it was so disappointing. Again, disappointment, because I would get like 2,000 steps or 1,000 steps, and I was just really kind of bummed and thought, God, I'm just a wimp. I'm not getting any steps in. And then I decided I didn't like to wear my Apple Watch at night to do my sleep. So I invested in not the expensive ring, but there's another one that was on Shark Tank or something. And I got a ring and I wear it. I'm not wearing it right now, but I usually wear it all. And my steps doubled. I was so excited. One day I had almost 8,000 steps. Now,
the ring does the steps too?
Yes, but I don't think it's accurate, but I love it.
It goes by your motion. So, like when you're walking, how you swing your arms and that kind of thing.
Yes. But oh my goodness, one day I almost had 8,000 steps. I was like, because this fatigue thing is so real.
When the pedometers first started coming out and that we would get one, you could sit it and you could actually shake it and you can make it do steps.
Well, that might be what's happening with my ring, but I'm kind of liking it. It's making me mental healthy. So,
it may mean that she's talking a lot, and with the talking comes a lot of hand motion.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll check with Jay on that and see what he says.
Yeah, I think it's out of his wheelhouse.
Well, I got a smartwatch too. After hearing all y'all talk about your smartwatches, since I I'm a non-Apple person, so I've got a Samsung tablet, Samsung phone, and a Samsung watch, and I really don't like it telling me that I didn't sleep good. I don't need a watch to tell me whether I slept good or not.
I don't wear mine at night.
But I am interested to see what my oxygen dropped to and things like that. So
the one thing that the new Apple Watch, and I'm not going to go and invest in the new Apple Watch, actually will monitor blood pressure, and there has not been one that has been accurate, because when my husband was having so many blood pressure problems, I looked around for a watch so that we wouldn't have to take the blood pressure all the time like we were doing. And the cardiac doctor said no, that there wasn't anything that was really reliable. But evidently, this new Apple 11 watch does keep a better track of the blood pressure. So that I have, on mine, I have it where you can do the heart rate and that kind of thing. But
yes,
well, I'm always looking for a good deal. So instead of getting the latest Samsung watch, I got the one from last year.
Yeah.
And rather than getting a brand new one, I got a refurbished one.
Right.
So it cost me $129.
That's not bad.
And I think that's at least $200 cheaper than a brand new one of this one, and probably $300 cheaper than the new Samsung 8. This is a Samsung 7. And my son said, "You need to get a silver band, Dad." So I got the band for $15. So
yeah, see, because I sleep in mine now, my Apple Watch. I wasn't sleeping in it until the doctor started raising issues about my heart, that my beat was low, and I kept saying, but it's normal for me. I run low, my blood pressure, everything runs low, and I've talked to my PCP. I said, this is ridiculous. Now I have to have an MRI, a cardiac MRI, which I had the day before Thanksgiving, right? And I'm saying, but I said to her, I said, there's nothing wrong with my heart. You found something wrong with every part of my body almost. Just can we just leave my heart alone, please? But I started sleeping with my watch just to monitor my heart, my heartbeat and rate, and to show her when I went for the appointment, look, this is my range. Okay, this is accurate. So just because by your count you think that my heart should be beating a lot faster. I said, you have to keep in mind that I'm also very athletic, and that has a lot to do
It,
with your running low. And
yeah,
they wanted to do all these tests. So I went and did the test because my PCP said, stop arguing with everybody. Go take the test. If the test bears you out being correct, then that's it. And if it says that no, you need to have a cardiologist and you need to follow up, then we do that. So I did that, and I looked at the test. From what I could see, there was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So when I see the doctor next week, that's going to be part of my thing. But I do sleep with my watch on just for that reason,
Yeah.
because I'm tired of them telling me that there's something wrong.
Well, like today, every time they took my blood pressure, it was like in the 150s, which is not normal for me. And I'm sure a lot of it was the stress, of all of it. But usually it's in the 120s, but today it was not so. I kept taking it.
But my heart rate when I'm sleeping apparently gets down to close to 50, 51, 52, something like that.
Mine stays about that at rest.
And my son Brett, his gets down in the low 40s. So, and he's like Linda, I believe. He's just one of these people that has a low heart rate. My wife has low blood pressure. They go and take her blood pressure, and it might be 95 over 60.
Yeah.
And the nurse is calling the doctor to come in.
Yeah.
And
I have a friend that had the low blood pressure like that.
Yeah. And when you run low, and like we're adults, right? You know your body.
Right.
And so constantly I'm telling. So like if it's what's high for me might be low for somebody else. So like if they start talking like 120, 125, 130, I'm like, okay, something's going on. And I know what it is. It's that anxiety of being there. So I'll say to the doctor, just wait. And then do it in a few minutes. But you have a conversation with me, right? You get me all revved up, like all these things are wrong, and then you want to take my blood pressure.
Well, they always,
that doesn't make sense.
to take mine as soon as you walk in. Well, just walking in from the waiting room to the other, mine raises up, 20 points.
20 points.
Yeah. So I said, give me time to just sit and breathe deeply and things, and it'll calm down. So it usually does.
Yeah, let me just sit here and float down the Frio River on an inner tube, and my blood pressure will drop.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap up early tonight. It's been good having everybody here. It's 20 past. We've gone an hour and 20 minutes. So we certainly wish the best to those that were not able to be with us. And Lou, we look forward to maybe you'll be calling us in from Houston. Who knows? Now, the first Thursday of January is going to be New Year's Day. So we'll wait and see what Michelle decides about that, whether we will meet that day or a week later. There should be some type of notification. So
Yeah, I think if we do a week later, they have to make some kind of adjustment on the schedule, because I know like the pancreas had usually meets, and they were meeting like the hour before or the 2 hours before ours tonight because of this of Thanksgiving, because they usually meet on the Thursday that was Thanksgiving. So they rescheduled, but you can't reschedule at the same time sometimes. So.
Okay, well, I wish everybody happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, if that is appropriate for you, and may you be just have a wonderful time with family and with
And
a
Nancy,
minimal
keep eating those
stress.
cookies.
Keep what?
Keep eating those cookies.
Yeah.
Easter for me, Nancy. Yeah.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna get back on the track. because I do want to feel good. And I respect you guys so much. And I also empathize. There's just nothing like not being 100% when we, we're at that time of life when we really want to enjoy every minute. So I just encourage and bless all of us to be good.
Yep, that's
But I
why
think a gingerbread cookie might be in order, though. A good
Huh?
gingerbread cookie. I think a gingerbread cookie might be in
If
order.
one comes my way, I'm probably not going to turn it down.
at least one a day, Nancy, won't hurt.
One bite. I'm learning that one bite is good.
One whole cookie a day.